Einen wunderschönen Tag wünsche ich meinen beiden Gästen, die hier sind. A very warm welcome to both of my guests that are here today. That's on the one hand Bertrand Péquery, the CEO of the Global Editors Network, shortly called GEN. And on the other hand, Daniela Kraus, the director of the journalism school in Vienna, the FIUM, the Forum für Journalismus und Medien. The reason why we are here is there is a big thing coming up next year that comes to Vienna. First of all, I wanted to tell you that just recently it happened to me that colleagues ask me quite often, me because I'm the media reporter of our paper, what this thing called GEN, the Global Editors Network, is all about. And I would like to hand this question over to you now. So what is GEN? What can we think about?
It is a worldwide association of editors-in-chief. 5 years ago, I was working for the World Association of Newspapers, and we asked one to create a worldwide association of editors, but gathering new platforms, not only broadcaster, but pure online players. At this period, Slate, Huffington Post, and now Vice, Vox, Mike, so the new players. And the answer was no, and so we decided to create a totally new association, multi-platforms. Mm-hmm. And so we gather editors-in-chief from all platforms, from Washington Post to Huffington Post or Mediapart in France and so on. So 1,200 editors-in-chief from 60 different countries.
And what would you say is the main purpose of GEN?
Just one unique goal. To be efficient, you must have one unique goal: newsroom innovation. Mm-hmm. What is new in newsroom? How to organize a multi-platform newsroom gathering television, broadcast, print, all together, mm-hmm. plus today social media.
Mm-hmm. So normally some other, normal people would maybe think that media companies are heavy competitors. So why do you think should media companies work together instead of competing each other?
Because of the new players, the new platforms. When you have in front of you Google or Facebook, the only possibility to survive is to work together. If not, you will be eaten. Mm. You will disappear. Mm. And in the last 5 years in the US, 60 newspapers disappeared, just disappeared. And the only possibility to survive is to combine energy, money together and to innovate. Mm. Because why Google is successful? Because it's totally new. So the media industry must innovate.
Mm. Is it easy to get media companies to tell other media companies about their success, about the things that they did already that worked out well?
Oh, journalists, they like to speak, so it's easy to exchange. And for instance, in the German world, you have one very successful company called Axel Springer. Mm-hmm. Axel Springer, it is a model for the rest of the world because they bought new players, they changed the way the newsroom is organized, and they produced new services, new content. And today they are, for instance, working with Samsung about Hub Day mm-hmm. for millennials. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the public, the audience of traditional media, legacy media, are people above 40 or 50. Mm. And here the goal is to get what we call the millennials.
Or even younger guys
or
and girls.
Yeah. Yes.
What would you think, how do they work together already? What happens already within the GEN network?
The goal is to exchange. For instance, we are organizing also with FIUM Hack Days. Mm. Hack Days, the goal is to produce prototypes, a new prototype gathering journalists, developers, graphic designers. A new service, editorial service, is not produced just by journalists or a very famous editor-in-chief. You need to work together with IT guys, with geeks, so with developers and with graphic designers. Data journalism, for instance, is a new world with data viz, data visualization. Nothing to do with classical infography. It's a totally new world when you have to represent billions of data instead of thousands of data. So the goal is to work together, developers, graphic designers and journalists.
So in 2016, the Gen Summit will come to Vienna the first time. And the Gen, in general, has also a big year next year. I think you celebrate your 5th anniversary, isn't it?
Exactly. So we are a baby. We are a very young baby, 5 years old. But we started the first year with 200 people, 200 editors joining the Gen Summit. And in Vienna, from 15 to 17 June 2016, we will be more than 600. So 600 editors-in-chief coming from more than 60 different countries. So we will have people from Pakistan, we will have people from Japan, we will have people from Argentina, a big delegation from Argentina, from the US, and evidently from Europe. But 600 editors-in-chief, it is the most important gathering of editors worldwide. So we are very proud to be very young, but also to organize the most important conference related to storytelling, content production. So we don't. It's not about advertising. It's not about management. It's about new storytelling.
And the reason why Daniela Kraus is also sitting next to you is that you choose to work together with the FIUM, with the Forum Journalismus and Media in Vienna. Tell me a bit more, maybe both of you, what kind of partnership is that you have there?
It's a wonderful partnership because I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Vienna to have the Gen Summit here. And evidently, we have some things in common. We were also founded in 2011, and our main goal is also to focus on innovation in journalism. So I think it's a very good connection to collaborate when the summit is in Vienna. And for us, it's very important not also to bring innovation to the media industry in Austria and in Vienna, but also to foster this idea of collaboration in an international context. And that's what I admire about Gen, about, for example, your climate network, a network of newsrooms to report on climate change. And I think media has to focus on collaboration on a small scale and on a large scale. And that's what connects us and why it's very good to have this cooperation.
And who will come who will come in June? I mean, you told us already about 600 editors and editor-in-chiefs coming from all over the world, but maybe you can tell me a bit more about the main speakers. Or about
Meredith Hartley, editor-in-chief of CNN. First, another important guy would be the CEO of Blendle. So this new startup about content monetization, because we want to always mix legacy media as CNN and startups. That's the goal of this meeting. Then we will have the editor-in-chief of Washington Post, Martin Baron. So really legacy media, but now owned by Jeff Bezos' Amazon. So a new spirit for media, because they think purely digital. And we will have one of my favorite guests will be the editor-in-chief of La Presse in Canada, a French-speaking newspaper. And they decided to cancel any print edition 1st January 2016. So we will be 6 months after. So and it is the first major newspaper, 300,000 copies per day, just finished, and they become pure online players with an app called La Presse Plus. So they will be purely digital during the week, because in the US and Canada, the weekend editions are very important. So here they remain in print. But it is the first important newspaper to stop the press.
Of course. And is the speakers list already set even? Or is there
At
some
the moment
room?
we have 30 speakers. You can go to the website gensummit2016.org and you will see the 30 speakers. In total, we will be 50 speakers during the 3 days from 15 to 17 June.
And what is the overall topic of this year? Do you have one main topic or more topics there?
Yeah, here we always make a survey, and the big threat for the news industry are the new platforms, Apple, Google, Facebook, and others. So it is the topic is the rise of platform-driven news. So how to deal with those platforms, because it can kill the news industry as it can be a rebirth. So at the moment we are hesitating, a lot of debate. So the real topic of next year's conference will be the platforms.
Okay. I guess you want to have a lot of guests that come over to the conference, also people from Vienna and from the countries or neighboring countries of Austria. So tell me a bit more, which guests do you want to address? So maybe both of you. Who should come? Who should really think about buying a ticket?
Oh, I think everybody who is in charge of innovating newsrooms and media industry just has to come. So it's editors-in-chief and their deputies, it's just necessary. Or if you are in a media company that has an innovation lab, an innovation department, I think that's really the target group. But of course also people who are in charge of international contacts and connections can find lots of inspiration at the conference. And there is another topic which I love very much, and I got in touch at Gen Summit last year, and that's virtual reality and 360-degree video. So the idea, what do you do if you wear a Samsung Gear headset or Samsung, doesn't have to be Samsung, and how can journalism produce stories and news for this new environment. And I think that's very interesting. We did together a workshop on the topic in Vienna, where you could learn hands-on how to do this. But of course, it's also very interesting again at the summit to see what's coming next, because it's so new. And there is so much fantasy in it for producing news. So I think if you really want to know what's next, if you're this kind of person, then you should come.
But then I have to be honest with you. I just looked up the ticket prices. The tickets are quite pricey, we have to say. So what would you say to a manager or someone who says, I mean, in times like these, when all media companies have to save money and cut costs, so why should they send some people over for 2 or 3 days and pay this amount of money for a ticket?
No, it is not cheap, because we have quality speakers and it is costful, so there is no doubt on that. But the answer is the following. You will find ideas for next year, how to invest money, how to create new ideas during those 3 days. So 3 days, it is costful, but you will find ideas for a whole year. So it is more than brainstorming, it is much more. And you can network. The second idea, one thing is to have someone in front of you on stage and you take ideas. The second element is the networking with 600 people from more than 60 countries. And here it is, there is no price for that, because you can discuss with people from CNN, from Russia Today, from NHK in Japan. And here you take a lot of new ideas.
Daniela, what would you say? You know the Viennese manager, almost all media managers in Vienna. What would you tell them? Why should they send some journalists and reporters, or also innovation people from the innovation departments to the conference?
You won't have the chance to get this amount of ideas and experienced newsroom innovation people at one place so soon, again.
And how many guests would you say do you expect for the 3 days?
600 people. It means in the main room, we will be at Aula der Wissenschaften, so in the center of first district of Vienna. So 600 people for 3 days. And just one anecdote, we put in competition Berlin and Vienna. And the reason why we chose Vienna is that it is also the gate to Eastern Europe, so more than Berlin for us. And so what we want to get is the German-speaking audience, for sure, but also
The eastern part of Europe.
yes, the Eastern Europe. It is in crisis at the moment. It's difficult for them to come. So I think we will have the possibility to sponsor them, to offer them the tickets for the conference because of our partnerships with European foundations.
So Vienna is a very famous conference city, I would say. A lot of medicine people and artists and whatever often do conferences here. Daniela, what would you say? What is the benefit for Vienna as a city to host such a media conference?
There are two sides. The benefits for the visitors is to get to know this really beautiful city, and the benefit for the city is to have people from the media industry knowing how beautiful it is. It's as simple as that. I think it goes far beyond the benefit of having all those innovation people here and for the core audience, but it's also a great opportunity to present what this city is and what it can offer. So we are also organizing quite an impressive side program and social program. And so I think, as you know, at these conferences, beyond discussing content, it's also very important to have a good social program, and we will have that.
and we will go to Kloster Neuburg the first night, a gala dinner at Kloster Neuburg. And I think the editors-in-chief from those 60 countries will be amazed by these buildings.
So there's this saying, we often hear that Germany is 3 to 5 years behind the US and Austria is again 3 to 5 years behind Germany. But I have one question to you. Is there even something what the global journalism can learn from Austria right now? Is there anything?
We will have one speaker from ORF, Stefan Ströbitzer, speaking about the newsroom of the future, because they are building, ORF, a new newsroom for 2020, and he will explain how to set up this new newsroom and what will be the new possibilities. So here, it will be the most modern newsroom, big newsroom in Europe, not tomorrow, but in 2020. So it is a good example.
But is there anything else that you can say? I mean, that's just a newsroom that will be built. I mean, that's really in the future. It might open in 2020, I think. So there's still some time to go. But do you have any, I don't know, media project in mind or any new thing that you heard of that is maybe also a bit, I don't know, typical for Austria? You can also answer.
I think what's interesting in the newspaper market, and we heard it recently at the presentation of the Reuters news report, it will be actually presented at the summit too, the next edition, is that Austria has such a strong subscription rate, or is so strong in readership for newspapers still. And that's very interesting. So maybe many colleagues will envy us, will be some envy. But it's interesting because I think there is more time for transformation for digital in Austria. So I think that's an interesting point to discuss. And also what I think is interesting is the strong local market. So that could be a point of discussion because we have a very strong local media market.
And Vienna is also forward thinking about smart cities, the concept of smart city. And I think we have to learn about how legacy media can be part of this process of this new connected world. And you have a lot of studies based in Austria and especially in Vienna. So I think here it will be interesting and it will become a very important topic. At the moment, not yet, because it's a pure concept. But when it will become real, legacy media, traditional media will have to change. And the experience will be done in Barcelona, in Vienna, in London, in those smart cities.
So it's all about connection. It's all about networking. That's what we can really say for sure. Maybe let's just repeat at the end. When will the Gen Summit take place in Vienna? In June 2016, from
15th to 17th, so 3 days, and it will be in the center of Vienna at Aula der Wissenschaften.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming and for answering the question. Have a nice day.
Thank you.